A tea dinner, my sister laughed. She's just a waitress. Don't expect much, her husband smiled. Politely and said funny she approved my raise last week. Everyone turned to me. My sister's fork froze in midair the second her husband entered the restaurant. It's private dining room and she immediately went into performance mode. That was typical Haley, always waiting for an audience, always ready with a perfect line to make herself look superior. But tonight, she didn't even bother waiting for dessert. She leaned back in her chair, smirked, tugging at her lips, and said loud enough for the entire table to hear. Please don't ask me about her job. She carries plates for a living. Let's keep expectations reasonable. A wave of laughter broke around me, sharp, clattering, painfully familiar. My stomach tightened, but I forced my shoulders to stay still. I'd walked in tonight prepared for something like this, but hearing it out loud still punched something soft inside me. My dad cleared his throat, but didn't offend me. My mom stirred her iced tea like she hadn't heard a thing. My aunt whispered something to my uncle and they laughed again. I kept my smile thin. Cute, I said. Very original. Haley shrugged dramatically. I'm just being honest. Nothing wrong with waiting tables, but let's not pretend it's corporate America. Her husband Derek slipped into the seat across from me, loosening the collar of his button-down shirt. He gave me a quiet, sympathetic nod. He and I weren't close, but he wasn't cruel like she was. Still, his eyes flicked around the table in that nervous way people get when they know something the others don't. My pulse steadied, because Haley had no idea who she was mocking tonight. No idea what I'd been hiding from this family. No idea what I had planned. The truth was simple. I was still a waitress part-time. I liked the job. I liked the customers. I liked the noise and the motion. But that wasn't the whole picture, and I hadn't corrected anyone when they assumed it was. That job helped me survive after college. But the one they never asked about, the one I never talked about, was the one that changed everything. Director of Employee Relations at Silver Oak Tech. 6-figure salary. Office view of the skyline. And yes, authority over compensation approvals, including Derek's. He knew. Haley didn't. My family definitely didn't. I wasn't planning to reveal it yet, but Haley was pushing it. Every button I had. So, Derek, my dad said, turning toward him like I wasn't sitting right there, how's that company treating you? Silver something. Silver Oak Tech. Derek replied. My lips twitched. Hearing my workplace's name at this table always felt surreal. Dad nodded. Right. Big place. Good money. You moved up recently, didn't you? Yeah, Derek said slowly. I did. Haley grabbed his arm proudly. He's the one putting in the work around here. Meanwhile, Mia's bringing home leftover burgers. I inhaled slowly through my nose, holding back the sharper tort building on my tongue. My fingers tightened around my napkin under the table. Derek shot me a tense look, half apology, half please don't blow my cover. He knew Haley's mouth was out of control. And, more importantly, he knew exactly who had approved his new salary just 7 days ago, but he stayed silent. For now, I tilted my head pretending to be curious, pretending her comments hadn't stung. So, what kind of raise did you get, Derek? If you don't mind me asking. The table quieted just a little. He shifted in his seat. A pretty big one. Amazing. Haley bragged before he could finish. They'd be stupid not to promote him. He's a natural leader. I bit back a laugh. If only she knew how many nights he'd spent sweating over policies and guidelines, emailing me directly for clarification because he didn't want to sound inexperienced in front of his boss. So proud of him, Mom added with a nod. I lifted my water glass. Congrats, Derek. Raises are always nice. His jaw clenched like he already knew where I was going. And I wasn't even close. Dinner continued. But the energy around me shifted. I felt it. The buzz under my ribs. The delicious anticipation of a moment approaching. Haley kept digging. So Mia, she said, tell us how many tables you waited today, or yesterday, or whenever your shift was. She laughed at her own joke. I smiled slow and controlled. I've been busy. I'm sure, she said, sipping her wine. Busy carrying bread baskets. Dad sighed again. Mia, sweetheart, we've always hoped you'd want more for yourself. Something stable. Something real. My heartbeat studied. A strange switch flipping inside me. Haley opened her mouth again, ready to twist the knife. But Derek finally spoke. Actually, honey, maybe we shouldn't. She waved him off. Stop. I'm not insulting her. I'm just saying she's Haley, he said quietly. You should let her talk. The entire table froze. Haley's eyebrows shut up. What? Why? Derek looked at me with a tight exhale. And for the first time all night, I saw it. The moment he realized he couldn't keep the truth under wraps any longer. Mia doesn't exactly have the job you think she has, he said. My mom blinked. What does that mean? I leaned back in my chair, letting their confusion soak in. It means there are things I haven't shared. Haley laughed sharply. Like what? That you switch diners? I kept my voice even. Like the fact that I work at Silver Oak too. Dad's glass clinked against the table. You what? Haley looked me up and down, scoffing. In what universe? Before Derek could rescue her, I added, not in customer service. I let it hang for a breath. Corporate. Her smile faltered. And I continued. Eyes locked on hers. I'm the one who signs off on raises. The room went silent. You could have heard a napkin drop. Derek swallowed hard, confirming everything without saying a single word. Haley's face drained. Dad leaned forward in shock. Mom's hand froze midair. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. I just said, congratulations again on your raise, Derek. It was well earned. The final blow? The tiniest smile tugging at my lips as my sister's world tilted sideways. Haley didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. A personal record. She blinked at me like her brain needed time to reboot. You approve raises? She finally managed voice then. I lifted my brows. Among other responsibilities, my aunt coughed into her napkin. My uncle muttered, well, that's something. As if I'd been hiding a secret identity this whole time. Derek rubbed the back of his neck. Yeah, Mia's actually one of the senior approval officers in HR. She's been there for years. Haley's voice rose a full octave. Why didn't you tell me? He looked anywhere except at her. Because every time I tried, you made a joke about her job. I figured it wasn't worth the argument. Her mouth dropped open again. But for once, she couldn't find a comeback. My dad leaned forward. Eyebrows lifted high. Mia, is this true? You've been working corporate all this time. I nodded. 3 years. Mom's confused stares softened, but when she turned to Haley, annoyance flashed to her eyes. Well, she said coolly, maybe we shouldn't assume things about people. Haley bristled. Cheeks turning pink. Okay, but why waitress then? Why not just say you had a real job? I exhaled slowly. Because I liked keeping parts of my life separate. And I didn't feel like earning approval from people who never asked in the first place. That landed. Hard. Haley's stiffened. Dad cleared his throat again. This time sounding guilty. Sweetheart, we didn't mean to. You meant it. I cut in gently, but it's okay. It pushed me to work harder. A quiet tension thick in the air. Plates arrived. Salmon for Haley, pasta for me. But no one reached for their forks. Haley's ego wasn't done yet. So what? She snapped lightly. You're some big executive now. No, I said simply. Just someone who does their job well. And someone who doesn't mind being underestimated. Derek let out a quiet laugh under his breath. That's the understatement of the century. Haley shot him a glare sharp enough to slice through steel. Then she looked at me again, softer now, uncertain in a way I had never seen from her. Did I embarrass you? She asked, voice low. Yes, I said honestly. But I'm not here to get even. I just want respect. Basic respect. The table went silent again. And something unexpected happened. My mother reached over and squeezed my hand. We're proud of you, she whispered. Really? My chest tightened. A warm, unsteady feeling rose in my throat. Dad nodded this time more firmly. You've made a life for yourself, Mia. We just didn't know. Well, now you do, I said. Derek lifted his glass toward me. For what it's worth, you changed my whole year with that raise. You didn't have to. I shrugged. You deserved it. You work hard. I knew your boss wouldn't fight it. Haley closed her eyes like she needed a moment. Then she whispered, I'm sorry. The shock around the table rivaled a meteor strike. My aunt even gasped. I studied her face carefully. For once, she wasn't performing. She wasn't smirking. She looked genuinely ashamed. I shouldn't have joked about you, she said, fidgeting with her napkin. I didn't know you had all this going on. You didn't ask, I replied softly. She nodded, swallowing hard. I'll do better. And surprisingly, I believed her. The tension around the table began to loosen. Shoulders unawed. Dad cracked a small smile. My aunt reached for her water. Conversations picked up again, this time quieter, softer, with fewer sharp edges. Haley tried again. Maybe after dinner you can tell me about your job? The real one. I smiled back. I'd like that. It wasn't revenge. Not in the dramatic, explosive way people imagine. It was better. I didn't need to humiliate her back. I just needed her to see me clearly. And she finally did. By the time dessert menus landed on the table, the tension had eased enough that people were finally talking without whispering. It felt strange. Like the entire dinner had shifted onto a different track. One where I wasn't invisible or the family's running punchline. Derek leaned forward, elbows resting on the table. So, Mia, he said with a small smile, you really kept all this under wraps? I did, I answered. I wasn't hiding it despite anyone. I just wanted a life that didn't revolve around proving myself every minute. Mom nodded, almost embarrassed. We should have asked. We should have paid more attention. That would have been nice, I said kindly. But I'm not holding a grudge. Haley shifted in her seat again, fingers running along the edge of her water glass. She looked smaller somehow, still herself, still dramatic, but less sharp around the edges. So, what's her day like? She asked. At your job, I mean, what do you actually do? I explained it simply. I manage employee issues, mediate conflicts, negotiate raises, and approve compensation adjustments. Some days are easy. Some days feel like I'm juggling fire. Derek nodded. She's not kidding. HR at Silver Oak is no joke. Haley stared at me, chewing her lip. I always thought HR was just paperwork. It's people, I corrected gently. People with real problems, real fears, real goals. And sometimes, I'm the only barrier between an employee and an unfair situation. Her eyes softened. That actually sounds important. It is, I said. She swallowed hard. I shouldn't have made fun of you. I really didn't know. I smiled. Warm but firm. Now you do. The waiter returned with dessert, cheesecake, warm brownies, tiramisu. For the first time that night, Haley pushed her plate toward me. Trade? She asked quietly. I snorted. Still hate cheesecake? Only when it's staring at me. We swapped plates. And she gave a little half smile. A peace offering in her language. My dad lifted his coffee mug toward me. To Mia, he said, for surprising all of us tonight, in a good way, and for working hard without needing anyone's applause. Mom followed. To Mia. Even my uncle raised his glass. Haley hesitated less than added. To my sister, who somehow became cooler than all of us, while we were busy running our mouths. Laughter broke out. Real laughter this time, the kind that didn't sting. I felt heat rise behind my eyes. I blinked fast so no one would notice. As dinner wrapped up, I excused myself to the hallway to get a breath of air. Moments like this, so heavy, so unexpectedly healing, always made me need a second to gather myself. I leaned against the wall, closed my eyes, and inhaled deeply. Footsteps approached softly. Haley? She stopped beside me, arms folded, looking nothing like the sister who mocked me 2 hours ago. Mia, I really am sorry, she murmured. All these years, I thought you'd just given up. I thought you were settling. I wasn't. I said gently. I was building something. Just quietly. I know that now. She shifted awkwardly. And I'm proud of you. Even if I don't always show it, the knot in my chest loosened. Thank you, I whispered. She hesitated, then added, I don't want us to be the kind of sisters who tear each other down. I want us to be better. I nodded. Me too. A small smile tugged at her mouth. So, maybe sometime this week we could get coffee? Just us? No digs, no jokes. I couldn't help but smile back. I'd like that. When we walked back into the dining room together, the whole table looked relieved, like they'd been holding their breath. For the first time in a long time, it felt like family. Walking out of the restaurant felt different this time. Lighter somehow, like the air didn't press against my chest the way it usually did after family gatherings. I wasn't racing to my car, replaying every insult or pretending none of it mattered. Tonight, things changed. And not because I wanted revenge, but because the truth finally had room to breathe. Derek held the door open as we stepped outside. "Hey Mia," he said quietly. "I'm really glad you finally said something. You didn't have to." "I know," I replied. "But I think it was time." Haley lingered beside him, her expression softer than I'd seen in years. She actually looked proud. It caught me off guard. Mom looped her arm through Dad's and whispered, "We need to invite her over more." Dad nodded. "Yeah, we've been too distant." Hearing that alone made the night worth it. We all walked toward the parking lot together, no one sprinting ahead or hanging back. For once I felt like I belonged in the group instead of orbiting around it. Just as I reached my car, Haley spoke again. "Mia? Wait." I turned. She stepped closer, nerves written all over her face. "So, I talked to Derek. He wants to help you with something. And I do too." My eyebrows rose. "Help me." She nodded quickly, then blew out a breath. "You've always done everything alone. You never ask for help. You just handle life. Even when it's hard. I think we forget you're not made of stone." I laughed softly. "I'm not." "Exactly. So we thought. Maybe it's our turn to show up for you." A warmth spread through my chest. "That means more than you think." Derek added, "If you ever need anything at work, advice, support, anything, just ask. And if anyone gives you trouble, I'll back you up." Haley nudged him. "He means that in a non-weird, non-awkward brother-in-law way." I smiled. "I got it." She looked at me again, serious this time. "I won't joke about your job anymore. I won't belittle you. I want to be better. And I want us to be better," I replied. Her eyes glistened. "Good. Then this is our fresh start." We hugged, awkward at first, then real. A tight, lingering embrace full of apologies, neither of us fully voiced. And just like that, the years of bitterness didn't disappear, but they loosened their grip. Later that night, when I got home, I kicked off my shoes, curled onto the couch, and opened my laptop. My email pinged with a new notification. Subject line, "Congratulations, Mia." Sender, Silver Oak Executive Board. My heart sped up. I clicked. "We are pleased to inform you that you have been selected for the assistant director position. Your promotion meeting is scheduled for Monday morning." A rush of emotion hit me so fast I had to cover my mouth. This was the moment I'd been working toward. Quietly, patiently, alone. And now, I wasn't alone anymore. The timing felt unreal, almost cinematic. Hours after standing up for myself, after demanding respect from the people who mattered most, here was recognition from the place where I'd worked so hard. I blinked fast, tears blurring the screen, then my phone buzzed. A message from Haley. "Coffee tomorrow. My treat." I meant what I said. "Proud of you, sis?" I laughed softly, wiping my eyes. For the first time in a long time, my life didn't feel split between who I was at home and who I was at work. For once, everything lined up. Respect. Family. Peace. Progress. A new job. A new beginning. And best of all, a sister who finally saw me for who I truly was.